I'm Gary White for Channel 6, Central Kentucky Television, and I'm here at the Marion County Public Library here with Rose Graves, and we're going to talk about a milestone event that occurred over Labor Day weekend right here in Lebanon and Marion County, and it was the 100th anniversary of the Porter family reunion. And the Porters from here in Marion County have been getting together for 100 years.
Yes.
And you are a Porter, right?
Yes. I'm Steve Porter. He's my grandfather.
Okay. And so this was the 100th anniversary of the Porter family reunion. There are about well over 700 people there?
Yes.
And where was it held this year?
It was held KC Hall
In Lebanon.
in Lebanon. And also some of them was in the park. And we was just spread it all over a little bit.
With that many people, you have to, right? Okay, and so was this the largest ever, do you think?
This was the largest ever. We always had maybe about 300 to 400, but everybody just tried to make it because we just can't give up on it.
Absolutely. No, after 100 years, you had to keep it going, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us, how did this all get started?
Well, my great-grandfather was William Porter and Mary Ann Miles. And they had 10 children, and they all lived together in the area in St. Mary's, and they called it Portertown. So every Sunday after church at St. Charles, they would go and have dinner together at they take turns in each other's house. And then when they would take turns, the family started getting larger and larger. So one of the 10, Lee Porter, he decided probably after 1900s, well then to start calling it the Porter family reunion. So then we all started going to different places. It was St. Mary's College. We was there once. We was Suffolk Spring Road. I can just only name a few because I was like 5 years old when I first started going. And St. Charles's School, and we also was at Lee's Porter's yard.
Okay.
And so we just all get together, and it's just
Fun.
It's just fun.
That's good.
And the thing about it, when my father was going, well, my grandfather and his brothers, the men would cook the meat and cook the meal. They would cook the whole meal. So it was just all just joining in together. And it's just a blessing that we all seen the 100th reunion, because to keep this tradition going. So we've been known to be the oldest and the largest African American in Kentucky.
Great. That's wonderful for a family reunion. It's going on for 100 years. So we're talking like the first one would have been like 1918 or so.
1918.
Right. And this is the 100th anniversary for the reunion. Now, you have your shirt on here, right?
Yes.
That has the celebration of it. How long have you been doing the shirts, and how long has it been recognized that this is like an annual tradition? Has that been your whole life? Do you remember?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's always been something special.
Yes. Yes. It has.
And it's also held the same weekend every year, right?
Every weekend, every Labor Day weekend, every year.
Okay. And it's usually on the Sunday and maybe the Saturday and Sunday prior to Labor Day each year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right in Lebanon, Marion County, somewhere, as you were saying, it's kind of moved around.
And we always liked for it to be in St. Mary's because that's where our ancestors was, but we gradually moved to town. You know, as generations change, then that's what people do. So,
and space, when you have that many people.
And St. Charles, the ground usually held us, and but now, we may have to have bigger space because if some of them come back next year, at least 200 more, we may need more space.
Absolutely. So we said there were well over 750, 800 people that were there at this reunion. Where are some of the places that they were coming here from? Some of the states and cities and stuff that you had mentioned?
There was South Carolina, Texas, Flint, Michigan, Detroit, Ohio, Ohio, Mississippi, or it's just like all over this Georgia. It's just all over. I mean, they just came from all different states.
Yeah. So the initial family, you were saying, had 10 children back in the day, right?
Yes.
And so it's kind of the descendants of all those children, which can equal a lot, right?
Yes.
Now, where was your father in that order of the children? Your grandfather, right? It was your grandfather.
My grandfather, I think he was, he may have been like the second or third child.
Okay.
Yes.
So he was up there towards the beginning.
Yes.
Now, you were saying that with the preparing the food, it's the guys who usually were preparing the food for the meal. Do you have the same menu every year?
Oh no, we have potluck, and that's where it was then, because my grandfather, they would take things out of their freezers, and I mean, the way the cellars rather.
Yeah.
And so we have potluck. It's all kinds of cabbage and broccoli, and it has been pig feet. It has been groundhog.
Really?
And yes, and it's just all types of meat, and it's just all kinds of vegetables. And
what's been your favorite meal that you've had over these years? Can you remember what's your favorite thing? And do you remember like which relative made it? Is there anything special that when you think of family reunion, this is what you think about?
Mostly cabbage. I like the cabbage, and I like the cabbage and the corn on the cob, and the cornbread. The cornbread, I always make sure I get a piece of cornbread, because everybody's cornbread is cooked different. Yeah.
Do you like it sweet or savory, the cornbread? How do you like it?
Savory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what do you make?
I usually make cabbage, cornbread, broccoli casserole, and baked beans.
Okay, so you're busy too, right?
Yes.
But with that many people, you need a lot of food, don't you?
Yes, and cakes, and this year was my favorite. My cousin from Lexington, she brought a banana pudding. And the banana pudding tastes just like my mom's banana pudding. It was fixed exactly the same way. I mean, I just indulged.
Well, that's great. So tell us, think about it for a minute, but if you could tell us a couple of stories. What are some of the fondest memories you have from all the years that you've been attending the family reunion? What are some of the different things that you recall and really enjoy?
Well, just everybody sharing their stories, and you get caught up in the stories, and you wanting to know more about it, about whatever happened, and then the different ways that we used to play when we go to the reunions. We would go and maybe we wouldn't have anything to play with, and then we would just make up games like hopscotch or just jump around and on jumps, just make up games. And so this time, that shows how it's changed. We had the video bus, we had the castle for the kids.
Okay.
And we had other games, and then the meet and greet, we had bingo. Then we had just different games, and gave prizes away.
Okay. So how long was it? When did you actually start getting together on Sunday? How long were the festivities this year?
It was 12 to 5 this year. That was just for the inside, but the people could stay as long as they want. So like it was 12 to 8. And on Saturday, it was from 1 to 5. Okay. You get to pick up your tickets, your dance tickets. We had a dance at Casey Hall that night from 9 to 1.
On Saturday night?
On Sunday night.
On Sunday night, okay.
And it was really nice. It was decorated nice, and it was just laid out.
Who were the performers?
We had a DJ, Ronnie G as the DJ, and Audrey Calhoun performed.
Okay.
And she performed 5 songs, and they was really impressed with the dance.
Absolutely. Now, is she a Porter family member?
No, she's just
a local,
friend,
yes,
local friend.
exactly.
And we've heard her before, and we just like for her to attend 100 reunions. So it turned out beautiful.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, are there plans to continue the reunion?
Is there plans? Yes. My daughter has been head of a committee for 7 years. I kind of stepped back a little bit, and so I just assist her. And they had 12. They had 12 committee workers where everything was split up, and I just loved the way they put it together, because that was some off of me too, and I was lost because I didn't have anything to do.
So there's a lot of planning that goes into the whole festivities. Right?
Yes, because we have to get in touch with, contact everybody, make sure we don't leave out anybody, and then if we send out a letter or something, we like for you to pass it on, and to other cousins, and so it's more than what some people think. Absolutely. And because some of them that joined the committee, they really couldn't believe that it was that much work. Yeah. And you have to be committed. You have to be committed. You got to be on point, and because don't nobody want to pick up your slack. You just have to keep on point what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. So, of the 700 or so people who were there, what percentage would you say are still local people, and what percentage actually traveled in from out of town?
I say probably about 40% local.
Really? So the majority traveled in from out of town?
Yes. The majority was out of town, yeah.
So the Porter family's taking over the country. Coming all around, right?
Yes.
That's great. They reach out far and wide.
Yes, and that's what we try to do. We try to reach as far, and thank goodness for Facebook.
Social media, I'm sure, helps in a way. Yeah. And we have some pictures, speaking of social media, that we were able to get off of your Facebook page. There is a Porter Family Reunion Facebook page as well, right?
Yes, it is. And we ask the family or anyone that knows anything that's going on in our family, and we can't, and we don't know about it, to put it on Facebook, Porter Family Reunion, Lebanon, Kentucky.
Great. And you can go there and see some stuff as well. And that's where we've gotten some of the pictures that you've gotten to see here. And again, I'm talking with Rose Graves, and she reached out to us to let us know about the 100th anniversary of the Porter Family Reunion right here in Lebanon. We're glad we had the opportunity to talk with you about it and share some information about some history about the Porter family. And it all started in St. Mary, Kentucky, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, it did. And the 10 men, it was 9 men and 1 lady. There was only 1 lady in the family.
Right, so there were 9 boys and 1 girl in that family.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. So they maintained that name then to the Porters, because they go through the guys. So the Porter family kind of went through at least that generation pretty well.
Yes, because all the cabins were sitting right next to each other. Okay. And so that's why they called it Porter Town.
Wow. Are any of the facilities still there in that area?
No. But we like to just ride through and just say, that's Porter Town.
You know where it is, right? Exactly. There's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. It's been Gary White for Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television.